Hi, this is Pete, and today I've got a very special guest, my friend Steve Trister, who is a comedy actor. But not just a comedy actor. Steve's worked in the comedy business, but also in the business of being in business. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to share with us today in terms of parallels and tips across the two ways of making a living. Are you there, Steve?
I think I am.
Well, thanks for joining us. Okay, well, let's dive straight in and just let you give a little bit of background as to what you've been up to, and then some tips as to how you see your experience within the comedy sector spilling over into the business sector.
Okay, so I've been in the kind of entertainment industry since 2003, which is oh my goodness, that's a decade. Wow, that's a long time. So, and then I fell into the business world in 2007, just because I love people. And I ended up going to some networking events and very quickly started losing the will to live completely.
I think we've all been there, yeah.
And so many people that I speak to have been there, and they're still being there. And so I suppose one parallel there is not is that the people in the entertainment industry, they certainly know how to communicate and have a little bit of charisma and to engage audiences, where I found that in the business world when I first started, even a lot of times to this day, business professionals, they have no true concept of how to communicate in a way that engages an audience.
Right.
That's scary as hell for me.
Well, I guess we've never been trained, have we? This is the thing. Most people get into business because they have something to sell, but it's not really about them as a personality. No,
and I think that's a really good point. I think it really boils down to awareness and also, like you say, education. That it's not really, it's considered a soft skill or a wussy skill, whatever you want to call it. And when you think about it, we're communicating all the time, and I'm completely dumbstruck about how many individuals or companies that they don't think it's important.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm guessing that you were trained when you were doing your comedy career as to how to get points across quickly with an edge and with some humour. So have you got maybe 3 top tips that you can give, boring business owners like me as to how we can get our message across and engage people?
Well, I don't think there's much hope for you, but you listening.
A lot of people have said that.
For you, yeah, but you that are listening, then I think there definitely is. So, 3 top 3. Well, I'll give my best one last.
Okay.
So the first one would be something that is really, really difficult for most people to do at the very beginning. In fact, it's so cringeworthy, people just run away when I even say it. And it is get a camera, film yourself, and watch it back. That process.
What, clothed or unclothed?
Pete, I told you there's no hope for you. I said that, didn't I?
No, I realise that.
So yeah, that's another project.
Okay.
So if you're listening to this right now and you've immediately gone, oh no, I can't do that. I hate watching myself. Here's the thing: take the pressure off yourself. It's not about you. It's about your audience always. So that's the first thing. The second thing is when you watch yourself back, or even when you're talking to people, ask this question: are my gestures supporting my message? Because most of them, they do like all kinds of hand gestures, and then people start focusing on the gesture, and then they start, asking, did you see how many times I did the arm thing? Like 42, no, I got 53. And, you completely lose the message, and it takes the focus off you. And the third thing, and this is absolutely, without doubt, the foundation of every single bit of communication, and it's emotional connection to your content. Because people always remember how you make them feel, not what you say. So if you can actually live it and feel it and be in it, what you're saying, and taste the words, then your audience will do too.
But Steve, but we're business people. That sounds a bit lovely. We're not going to mind getting out of cubes and boxes and stuff like that, are we? So give us some tangible examples. How can we really hit home?
Well,
how can we get them with us on our side?
Well, here's the thing: if you're talking about your product, and you're saying, so for example, if you're talking about buzz, confidence, and you're saying in a certain tone of voice, you're just what I call vomiticus content in art and puking content, and you're saying to people,
Glad you said that.
Yeah, So I've got this Buzz conferencing. It's really good, and I think you should use it because the software's great, and yeah, basically it's a really good piece of software. Now, if I said, I've got this piece of software called Buzz conferencing. It's really great. I absolutely love it, and I'll tell you why. Because of the simplicity of it, because what we can do with the software, and it just works. Now, it might be a very crude and very simple and crap example, but the difference in tonality between the two, the way I delivered that, is just completely different. One had life to it, one didn't. And who would you rather listen to? The person who's just about to jump off a cliff and take them with you, or someone who's got some life and passion?
The passion word. No, you're absolutely right, because we talk to a lot of technical people as part of our business, and a lot of them, when you meet them, it's like meeting a specification sheet out of a catalogue. There is no personality there. Yeah. Whereas we're actually quite passionate about conferencing, and because it's not the conferencing, it's not the technology, it's the fact that people can work from home and the fact that people can save the environment, and it's the whole what it does for them rather than what it does. Is that a kind of valid distinction to make?
For me, this software enables people to connect with each other, and build relationships and that kind of stuff. It just happens to be the software just happens to be a telephone over the internet and that kind of stuff. That's irrelevant, but it's the end game, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so if we're in a different industry like I don't know, accounting. I know people always pick on accountants, but we shouldn't be talking about the numbers and the compliance. We should be talking about the vision for our company and not running out of cash on the way and all that sort of stuff.
Well, of course. But you're going to need to talk about numbers and stuff. But at least, bloody, when you're talking about the numbers, deliver it in a way that you sound a bit excited about it, and you don't want to lose the will to live. That's the point. It's not. You can make any content sound amazing, or any content sound horrifically boring by the tone and by your emotional connection. And that's the thing that most people don't get. They just talk, they just puke the content, and they never consider how it's actually coming across. And that, in the first instance, is what people remember always. But it's an awareness thing. It's not, UK business on the whole, they're not aware about this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's right. The awareness is key, isn't it? And it's not something they teach you at business school, or something, not something that I never learned, evidently, as you've already pointed out.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Well, look, Steve, we've been on the phone now for a little while, so I want to start wrapping up. There's two things that I want to finish on, if I can. One is, a bit of blatant publicity for yourself. If people like what they've heard, how can they find out more about you? And I don't want a sales spiel, just a few words.
It's really simple. In the very first instance, I don't care what any of you do. I want to know what you're like as a person. So connect with me on LinkedIn, connect with me on Twitter and Facebook, and let's go from there.
Okay. And if they just search for Steve Trister, that's Trister, then they'll find you if you've done your job right, won't they?
I hope I have, Pete.
All right, and secondly, I know we've spoken about Buzz a little bit, and this is not a Buzz commercial, but you've used Buzz quite extensively in your business for interviewing people. Maybe you can just share in just a few seconds what, if anything, you liked about it.
It's really simple. I didn't have to rely on the internet, working or not working, and the good old phone landline, which was great, which in my experience never ever fails. And it was easy for people. They didn't have to start logging in on the internet. They could call in on their mobile or landline, and it was easy. It was simple. And you told me that the recording, it'll probably be there within the hour. Every time, I think I've done about 8, 9 interviews over the phone, about 10 to 15 minutes each. Every single one of them, without fail, was in my inbox within 2 to 3 minutes, and I had it on my desktop within kind of 4 minutes. Done. It's there.
Well, that will be our pixies. You see, we've got specially trained pixies that do that. So I shall be giving them Scooby snacks.
Give them loads because they're bloody quick.
All right, brilliant. Steve, thanks for taking so much of your valuable time to tell us how boring we normally are and enlighten us how perhaps we shouldn't be in future. And it's been great. We'll speak again soon, and I've certainly learned something, and I hope other people have too. Cheers, Steve. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. Thanks.
All the best. Cheers.